Is the Apocrypha inspired by God? This question has stirred up a good deal of controversy throughout history. As we dive into this topic, it's important to acknowledge the existence of the Apocrypha. These are 7 additional books found in the Catholic Old Testament, distinct from non-Catholic versions. Interestingly, these books were not part of the original Old Testament canon, and thus were not recognized by ancient Jewish scholars. The Apocrypha, a term that has often sparked heated debates, is a collection of texts that has been both embraced and rejected over the centuries by various religious factions. Its inclusion in religious texts, or lack thereof, has been a matter of significant dispute. So why does this controversy exist? And what exactly are the arguments against the Apocrypha's divine inspiration? So let's delve deeper into the history and debates surrounding the Apocrypha to better understand its place in religious texts. The Apocrypha might be included in the Catholic Bible, but it was absent from many important historical listings. The Apocrypha, despite its inclusion in the Catholic Bible, was notably missing from the works of several key figures. Jewish philosopher Philo, for instance, made no mention of it. The same goes for the historian Josephus. Even the most ancient list of Old Testament books, compiled by Melito of Sardis, left out the Apocrypha entirely. The absence of the Apocrypha didn't end with these historical figures. Early Christian scholars like Origen and Tertullian did not regard the Apocrypha as canonical. They held the books of the Apocrypha apart from the accepted canon of the Old Testament, further underscoring the varied perspectives on its legitimacy. Now, it's worth noting that the Apocrypha did find acceptance among some, but not all. By the 5th century, a few low-ranking church officials had welcomed it into their fold. However, higher church authorities did not share this view. The Apocrypha was accepted by some low-ranking church officials in the 5th century, but not by higher church authorities. This uneven acceptance further fuels the debate. The question remains, is the Apocrypha divinely inspired? The evidence points to the contrary. The Apocrypha was written during a particular period known as the Divine Silence. This was an era when, it is believed, no new divine revelations or inspired documents were being given by God. This absence of divine communication during the time the Apocrypha was written casts a shadow of doubt on its divine inspiration. Moreover, neither Jesus nor the New Testament writers ever quoted or referred to the Apocrypha, despite frequently citing passages from the Old Testament. This omission suggests that they did not view the Apocrypha as part of the sacred scriptural canon, and consequently not of divine origin. Furthermore, the Apocrypha itself does not claim inspiration. In stark contrast, the canonical Old Testament books often assert their divine inspiration. This lack of self-claim to divine revelation within the Apocrypha further supports the argument against its divine inspiration. When it comes to literary style, the Apocrypha falls short when compared to the canonical Old Testament books. The richness, depth, and profound spirituality found in the Old Testament is somewhat lacking in the Apocrypha, suggesting a human rather than divine authorship. And finally, the Apocrypha contains numerous historical, geographical, chronological, and moral errors. Such inaccuracies would seem out of place in a text purportedly inspired by an infallible and omniscient deity. The presence of these errors gives us more reason to question the divine inspiration of the Apocrypha. Given these points, it seems unlikely that the Apocrypha was indeed divinely inspired. So, was the Apocrypha inspired by God? The evidence suggests not. The Apocrypha's absence from key historical listings is a telling sign of its disputed status. Noted Jewish philosopher Philo, historian Josephus, and early Christian scholars such as Origen and Tertullian did not include the Apocrypha in their works. Even the most ancient list of Old Testament books compiled by Melito of Sardis omits the Apocrypha. Moreover, the New Testament, penned by writers who frequently quoted the Old Testament, contains no references to the Apocrypha. This absence speaks volumes about its perceived value and authenticity. Adding to the skepticism, the Apocrypha itself does not claim divine inspiration, and its literary style is decidedly inferior to that of the canonical Old Testament books. The Apocrypha also contains historical, geographical, chronological, and moral errors, further undermining its credibility. While the Apocrypha holds a place in the Catholic Bible, the debates surrounding its divine inspiration persist. It's important to question, research, and form your own understanding of religious texts.